Hey everyone, it's Riley. Welcome back to my channel for another custom bullet journal flip through. So as many of you probably know, I sell custom journals over on Etsy, so every customer I have gets to choose different layouts and themes and colors that they want, and I put them all together for them to make kind of a planner or bullet journal for them to use for however many months they request. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to show you one of the bullet journals that myself and my customer put together, and I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments which of these themes you like the most. Alright, so today we'll be flipping through this 6-month journal, and this is a journal brand that I've never used before, but let me tell you, I really loved this one. So it's from a brand called Your Bujo, and I'm just going to show you some of the packaging for a second. So as it says, it's got 176 pages. It's all made out of recycled paper. The paper is 150 GSM, which is a little bit different. Mine is normally 160, but I really did not notice a difference. And it's made in Germany. So this is the packaging. It was so cute. You can find their stuff at yourbujo.com or your.bujo on Instagram, and I'm gonna have all of that linked below because yeah, if you're interested in a journal like this, the quality is great. I really did not notice a difference between like the 150 GSM paper compared to the 160 with Archer and Olive, and it's stark white and everything. So if you're interested in supporting a company like this that does use 100% recycled paper, I would definitely recommend them, and I'll have their stuff linked below. So some other features of the journal, they come in a couple different colors. I got this sort of sandy color. There's this little dotted design over to the side, an elastic band, an elastic pen loop, and there's just one ribbon bookmark in these journals. So this journal was so much fun. My customer really just told me to like try new things, have fun with it. And yeah, so for the beginning of the year spreads, I used a bunch of pink washi tapes from the Washi tape shop and stickers from Obujo. And I made this kind of layered sort of look with a bunch of little cuts. And I've seen this done by a few different artists over on Instagram. The first person I saw do this was Kelsey Doodles. I'll link her account as well. I'm not sure if she came up with it on her own, but she's the first person that I saw doing this. So I definitely loved her idea and recreated it actually multiple times in this journal. So we've got just a little title page for 2022. Then I've got my future log, and I used some calendar stamps from Paperwrld, and then beside that there's 10 lines where she can write in different events and dates and stuff for these 6 months. Next, there's a things to check out page and a health log with the last 6 months of 2022. And then finally, there's a reflection spread, so looking back on the previous part of the year or the previous couple years, key things that she learned, enjoyed, and accomplished. And then there's a reading tracker where she can write in all of the books that she goes through in 2022. So those are the yearly pages, and I did leave a couple of blanks before getting into July. So for July, I did this koi fish theme, which I've done once before, and I just really liked it. Another reason why I did this theme is because I decided to do Dutch doors for every single month in this journal. So starting with July, there's this little Dutch door cutout, and then I put some washi tape on the page behind. So every month has a title page like this, and then there's some sort of encouraging or uplifting quote. And then tucked behind the Dutch door, there's a monthly review. So I've done this once before, and she requested a similar sort of thing. So each monthly review has a spot for some monthly favorites, like favorite songs, movies, TV shows, and books. Then there's also a spot to kind of rate the month, just overall with those stars, and then 1 to 8, give it a rating mentally, physically, and overall. And then in every month, there's also just an empty spot where she can either paste in a little picture or write down a memory or a quote that she found and liked, something like that in that little empty spot. And finally, the last monthly page is just a big monthly calendar with space to track 3 habits in the margin. Then as you can see, the weekly spreads, they're all pretty similar. There's all the days of the week over to one side. I did rearrange them for some months, but I kept them all on their own page for all of the months because she really wanted to make she really wanted to make sure that she had space for a big to-do list, like a rolling task list sort of for the week. So there's a big task list, a calendar with the current week highlighted or circled, and then a little sleep tracker. All right, next is August, and the order of the monthly pages is a little bit mixed up, and that's actually because I made one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made in a custom journal, and this was definitely like the most intense cover-up job I've ever had to do, but I wanted to show you guys anyways. So here's the title for August. The title was actually meant to be on this page here because I had already drawn the entire calendar on this page, and then I drew the title and cut right through the calendar without even looking back at it. So this right here is a result of covering up that calendar. So I used some washi tapes to cover up like the furthest parts of the calendar lines and the little habit trackers over on this side. And actually even underneath the washi tape, there is like some dot grid paper from this journal from like the previous Dutch doors that I pasted in to cover up some of that stuff as well. So yeah, I've got dot grid paper, then some washi tape, and then this brown paper to cover like the bulk of the calendar. So this was probably my most like in-depth mistake covering that I've ever had to do, but I think it turned out pretty all right. I like that I did craft paper here, which I wouldn't have done otherwise. So anyways, that's why the monthly pages are in the wrong order here, because once I cut through the calendar, I knew that I would have to totally make a new calendar and put the monthly review page over here. So like I said, all of the weekly spreads are pretty similar. They've got the days of the week over here. These are just laid out a little bit different than the July ones. And since this is a full doodle journal, every page has some kind of monthly doodles, even for the weekly spreads. And then we've got all the same things, that calendar, the sleep tracker, and a task list. So for September, I did the similar sort of layering mini Dutch doors kind of thing. So I did a really collage heavy theme for this month because she mentioned that she likes that stuff. So I used a ton of washi tape from the washi tape shop. And again, Obujo and Journal Say are the shops that I get these stickers from. So tucked behind the first little Dutch door is the monthly review. So movies, shows, books, favorite songs, overall rating, and then spot for a memory or a quote. Then turning over the next page, we've got the calendar. So I had to cut the calendar like really close to make this whole Dutch door thing work, but it still did fit just fine. Next is October. So for October, I did this cozy little reading theme, and instead of having like the quote and the title on like separate pages, I combine them. So I've got the title going across and then a little quote, when you focus on the good increases, also going across both pages. Then tucked behind there is our October review, and then our monthly calendar, and then we've got the weekly pages. Next is November, and she mentioned that she really loves music and likes to play instruments. So I did this little music theme with kind of just music notes moving across the page. And I did a lot of purple in this theme. I realized I hadn't used any purple yet in the journal, so I did a bit of that here in November. And finally for December, I did this little mitten theme, which I have done once before. One thing that I will say, speaking to like this journal from Your Bujo, the white gel pen that I use, so there you can see it, it's my white Uniball Signo gel pen, which usually stands out really, really well. But I have had this problem before. The last time that I used a journal with recycled paper, it just seems to kind of absorb the white gel pen. So I didn't think that this journal would do that because the pages are still like stark white. So I thought they must have done something differently, because in the past when I've done this and had this issue, it has been with more ivory recycled paper. But yeah, so I did face that little problem where when I draw with my white gel pen, it just seems to like get sucked into the paper instead of kind of standing on top of it like it does with an art journal of journals. So that was literally like the one downside that I found to this paper, but I don't really think it's a massive deal. If you don't use white gel pen lots, it's definitely not a massive deal, but I feel like maybe by going over it multiple times or using a white paint pen, perhaps you could fix that. But I think I went over this twice and it still just kind of got sucked into the paper. So it's not super prominent, but you can still tell that it's there. So I'm not too disappointed. And that brings us to the end of this custom journal. Thank you all so much for joining me to flip through today's custom journal. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.